is up, everyone? Video 3 of the day, triple feature. My pleasure, you're welcome. Here we go. So this video is going to be on specifically damage dealt versus increase of attack skills, or however they word it. We'll get there in just a second. Hopefully this video answers the question whether or not the vintage truck is better than the regular free-to-play trucks, and kind of where you should focus maybe using your resources when it comes to damage dealt versus the increasing the attack skills. So to get things started, I use very minimal data here. I actually thought I recorded doing this experiment, but I did not. So just to make a long story short, I'll be using battle reports to kind of justify which is stronger and how it relates to you. So the first thing we're going to look at is this battle report against Sandman. And I do compare formation per formation, like all the formations and stuff will match up. You'll see here in just a sec. So in this first round, I go against his Beta, Lydia, and Alpha team. Here you see that I have effect of damage dealing skills to the max, which is 15%. So what I hypothesize is damage dealt affects all damage even skills. And of course that this effect damage dealing skills thing only affects skills. So my hypothesis is that it's probably better to go with damage dealt over effect of damage dealing skills, because damage dealt, I believe, will affect everything. So now that you see that that's the vehicle that I had equipped, we'll take a look at the battle log. And again, my goal is to compare apples to apples. So I'm just going to look at like the first turn here, mainly how Ezekiel performs. So you have Ezekiel, the Royal Flush I'm not going to worry about, and we're going to move into Cat's Meow. Now, I've already written these values down, so I'm going to just say them out to you, but if you need to see it for yourself, kind of just pay attention to the soft taps here. All right. So for Cat's Meow, Beta loses 270 fighters, Lydia loses 283 fighters, and Alpha loses 290 fighters. Then if you also look at Kingdom Come, Alpha loses 221 fighters, Lydia loses 216 fighters. And then if you look at the normal attack, Ezekiel hits Beta, and Beta loses 218 fighters. All right, so like I said, I've already written down these values, and we're going to look at a couple of battle reports of me putting attack damage dealt as the maximum. Let's go to duels. All right, so you see this is my Ezekiel going against his Beta, Alpha, and Lydia formation. Here you'll see that I do have damage dealt at the max at the 15%. So let's take a look at how well or not well it performs. So again, comparing apples to apples, we just look at turn 1, Ezekiel. You'll see that Ezekiel did Royal Flush first, just like he did in the previous report. So the Berserk plus 15%, that's already incorporated in both attacks. All right, so looking at Cat's Meow, that is the same skill that Ezekiel did in the previous report. Instead of doing 270 damage to Beta, Ezekiel does 303 damage. Well, I won't say damage. Beta loses 303 troops here instead of losing 270 that he lost before. All right. And then we look at Lydia here. Lydia lost 316 troops, whereas last time Lydia only lost 283. And then lastly, Alpha loses 321 troops, whereas last time she only lost 290. Now here Ezekiel doesn't do the Kingdom Come skill. But he does do a normal attack on Beta, causing Beta to lose 226 fighters. The normal attack that Beta did that we did in the previous report showed that Beta lost 218. Now, I think one good question you can ask is if the attack on there's an increase in the attacking skills and they're both 15%, why does the damage dealt why isn't the damage or the troops killed the same in that regard? And my hypothesis is that damage dealt, because it increases everything, that maybe with this berserk it also increased the berserk, which also then increased the troops loss for the comparable skills. So I think my hypothesis is proven. Of course, in any scientific method, you wouldn't use one battle report to justify this. You would use multiple. But I'm running a little low on rubies to keep bouncing back and forth for resetting the trucks. But I do think this is not a one-off. And if anything, it probably gets better per turn. But it is pretty standard. It's the same formations. Nothing's changed. Everything's the same level. The only difference I made was that I changed the trucks. I guess I will say in this dual battle, I do have dogs on versus, no, I had dogs on both. So yeah, this is a pretty standard experiment. Like I said, it's all apples and apples. The only difference made was damage dealt versus skills. So again, hopefully this was helpful. Again, I'm going to predict for fighting purposes, the vintage truck is going to be better than the RV or bus. But it just depends on what part of the game you're in. If you are just starting out, you're going to want to focus on your RV or bus just because it helps you with development. Getting your research skills, getting your research costs or construction costs down is imperative. In this late in the game of Season 6, construction cost doesn't matter too much to me. At the end of the day, it's all about how much clay, cloth, and leather I'm going to use to upgrade things. And right now, I'm spending most of that on research. So I want the cost to go down as much as possible there in research. So again, vintage truck eventually will be better for fighting purposes. But other than that, like unless your RV or bus is level 50, I wouldn't even worry about thinking about the vintage truck just yet. Now, the vintage truck is very helpful, or will be very helpful with like heal speed and cutting down the time it takes to get your troops back if you're fighting. But if you're strong, you don't get that many troops to go into your hospital. So, it's like a catch-22 all the way around. But if you're asking the question, which is better, fighting-wise, the vintage truck will be better once you get it past level 50 because of the capability to go past level 50. But if I had to pick a skill to focus on, I definitely would probably do RV with the damage dealt. I guess I could do a video in the future if damage dealt is better than reducing damage taken. I would imagine these are probably equal to some degree, where the amount of kills you get with the increased damage dealt is balanced out by how many kills or how many soldiers you lose with the damage reduction here. All right, so I think I said a lot. Hopefully this video was entertaining and informative at the very least. Here you can see preliminary pretty much results showing how much more attack damage dealt is than the skills, increasing the attack of the skills. Please DM me if you have questions or you want a video on anything specific. Happy to make that for you. Happy to make this video for you. This is my last one for the evening, so good night, and I'll see you guys at another time. Thanks.